I've been a musician since I was in year 5 at school. I took guitar lessons then, just simple stuff. Obviously, I was quite young, but I started doing it professionally 3 years ago now, and I wrote my own EP. Doing that has been just so much fun to do, and like putting those songs out into the world and seeing people react to them has been really fun, and I've really enjoyed it. I gig around 2 to 3 times a month. I used to do a lot more, but as my condition has worsened, I've had to sort of pull back a little bit, but I still do it as much as I can. But, you know, I love gigging. I mostly play covers these days, and when I play like a happy song and everyone's up dancing, those are the moments that I know that music was exactly what I wanted to do, and like there's a whole room of people singing along, having a great time, making people happy. That's why I want to be a musician. While gigging, it absolutely exhausts me, and after one gig I'm laid out for like a full week without a doubt. During those moments I think, well, it's all worth it. I have something called Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease. It's a form of peripheral neuropathy, which is always fun to try and say. It basically means that all the nerves in my body don't do what they should. They pull incredibly hard on my feet, meaning I've got really high arches, and both my feet are like over to the side, so it's incredibly painful for me to walk. I also have a curved spine, partially from that, and that means that my back is always in a lot of pain from sitting like right now, which means I often have to use a wheelchair or crutches when I'm out and about. On top of disability, obviously depression and anxiety are a huge thing that I have to deal with every single day. And I'd say like half of my week is completely like useless. I have to stay in bed all the time and not do anything. So when I'm not having a good day, my partner Ali, who I live with, we tend to go out to Tynemouth and just try and clear my head. And I really enjoy doing that. It really just makes me forget about everything. And if it's not that, I tend to just like play music and record music, and that's really why I do that most of the time. I met Ali 6 years ago. We met online. She had a blog and I had a blog. We talked for about probably 2 months, and then eventually she came up to meet me, and we had a great time. There was no awkwardness, there was no like anxiety to meet her. We just got on really well. We did long distance for 3 years, and that was really difficult, but around 3 years ago she moved up to live with me, and we moved from my rubbish flat in Jesmond to this house we're in now, and it's just been great living together.
I lived in Birmingham, still with my mum and dad. We were travelling on the coach once a month. I'd come up to see him for a weekend. He'd come down to see me for a weekend. It was difficult for like an 8-hour coach journey. That was a whole day gone. We kind of had to like cram our relationships into like 2 days a month, and things kind of just blossomed from there. We were instantly clicking together, and it's been happy since.
So I couldn't live my life without Ali, there's no doubt about that. Even outside of my disability, she's incredibly supportive. She always has been. She's kind, she's generous, she's funny. She listens to me ramble on about all the stupid things I'm into, whatever interest I have that week. She always listens and pretends, or maybe even does take an interest. And when it comes to my disability, she's just always so supportive. She never complains that we can't do the normal things couples, you know, generally do. I have to stay inside and like not go out, you know, over half of the week at least, and that's on good days. And she never complains, she's always really supportive. So I couldn't live my life with any semblance of pride or happiness without her in it. So I couldn't be a musician without Ali. Not only does she help me setting up all of my gear, like my lights and my camera, like people don't realize how much work really goes into making YouTube videos and making music like that. So I couldn't do that without her, but she's also really supportive. Like obviously I can't work a conventional job with my condition, and trying to be a professional musician is obviously a very hard thing to do, especially if you want to do it full time or make money, and she's never once complained about it. She's always been really supportive and really enjoys like helping me and watching me make music. I think my favorite thing about Ali is probably just how supportive she always is of whatever I want to do, whether it's some daft new interests I have, or whether it's being a full-time musician, which is obviously something that you can't just, it's obviously very hard to get into and to do professionally. Like even just gigging in the local area, there's a lot of competition, and she's always been just incredibly supportive of that. And outside of music, she's just so supportive of my disability. She understands when there are things that I can't do, and she always is happy to just stay in bed and just watch Netflix all the time, and never gets mad that we can't do what normal couples may do.
There's a lot of talk around disability and interabled couples where the disabled person is a burden upon the able-bodied person in the relationship, but I don't ever feel that Sam is a burden on me, because I still care for Sam whether he was disabled or not. It's just my care is just a little bit different to match his disability within the relationship. I feel there's a bit of pressure mentally with Sam's condition being degenerative. We don't quite know what's going to happen, how long he's going to be able to walk for, or how long it's going to be until I am going to have to help him even more. But at the end of the day, he's still going to be Sam, so I'm still going to treat him the same way, and we're still going to be happy.
I started making music online and on YouTube about 2 years ago. Seriously, I do 2 videos a week roughly when I had the energy. And while I was making music videos for YouTube, I put up a video about my disability just because it's 1 in 2,500 people have it. And while it is the most common neurological disability in the world, I've never met a single person that knows what it is. And in my entire time of going to the hospital, I've met 1 doctor who knows what it is. That was when I sort of thought, maybe I should start posting about disability, because in my goal to make people happy, that seemed to be doing more. Like, the comments on that video were so encouraging. Other people had realized what CMT was, that if they had it, they'd learned about their own disability. It's been huge compared to my music. Like, I've gained like nearly 4,000 followers in 2 months, which isn't a huge amount of followers, and I don't do it for the followers, but obviously there is a community out there that wants to learn about disability, both able people and disabled people. And I've seen, so many comments. Someone even found out they had my disability because of my posts. They'd spent thousands on doctors for years who hadn't been able to diagnose them. They started following me, realized their symptoms lined up with mine, and after 1 genetic test, they found out they had what I had. I post about disability every day because it affects me every day. I deal with ableism every single day. Being treated badly, both like when I had a job, I would deal with ableism then, and other people obviously have as well. I just do it because I want to talk about it, selfishly, I suppose, for one, and because seeing people take away something from what I'm writing. One of the things I talk about all the time online is this toxic positivity, that you always have to be happy and just forget about the negativity. And there's a lot of people in the disabled community who push that stuff all the time, that you should just never be sad and never deal with it. But depression isn't something you're just going to get over at the end of the day. It's a chemical imbalance in your brain. You're not just going to cure it. One thing I've noticed especially in the disabled community, but just in general with mental health, is that men are not really a part of the conversation. That women in general are much more open about mental health. They talk about depression, they talk about anxiety. So that's something I really try and push with my Instagram, is for men to sort of talk about this stuff, because toxic masculinity is a huge thing, and men don't want to open up to their friends or to the internet, obviously, about these things. But you see people committing suicide every day because they didn't have someone to talk to. They didn't think it was right to talk about depression or anxiety. So that's something I really try and push on my page, is that it's okay to be depressed, it's okay to talk about it, and you should talk about it. So positive things to come out of my disability have probably been the community that I've both created around my own page, as well as just met in general online, being part of the disabled community. But I lost a lot of my sort of real life friends, if you will, when my disability got to be as bad as it is now. So creating that community online and having people to talk to every day, having people just message me to check in on me and see how I'm doing, commenting on my posts, like talking to each other even and helping each other. I see that all the time, and that makes me really happy. Like, if I post about a struggle that I'm having, or just something about the disabled community in general, I'll see someone ask something before I even have a chance to reply and sort of help that person out. 2 or 3 of my followers have jumped in and sort of helped them out and been nice to them and sort of welcome them into the community I'm trying to build. And if I wasn't disabled, that wouldn't happen. I wouldn't have all these friends that I've met online. I wouldn't have this incredible community. I wouldn't have this purpose that I have now, and I'm really grateful of that.
To make you understand how it feels to watch my body fail, to make you understand